What is going on, everybody? It's Avi and Joe, and we're here for episode number 1 of the Santa Barbara Group podcast. You might have seen us already on our YouTube channels doing drive-alongs or exploring the Santa Barbara community. You might have seen us in our Facebook group, the Support Santa Barbara Biz Facebook group, but we wanted to come at you for another angle, talk about Santa Barbara, talk about this community we love in all different aspects, and I'm stoked to sit down with you today, Joe.
Yeah, Avi, great to be here. Yeah, so we are really interested in taking this Facebook group to the next level with regards to more engagement and just bringing more value to everybody who loves the group. And we want to talk about in this podcast real estate, of course, because we're in the real estate business, but also what's going on in the community, things that are happening around town, and highlighting the different businesses that we've been able to discover and find in this Facebook group. And what else are we going to be talking about?
Yeah, big shout out to the Facebook group. If you haven't joined already, it's the Support Santa Barbara Biz Facebook group. We have over 22,000 members.
Ooh.
We started it right after COVID, basically March of 2020. And we just thought it'd be a great way to come to the group, talk about the ins and outs of what's new in Santa Barbara, news, for sure touch on real estate, which is our expertise, then give shout outs. We talked about some local restaurants that we've hit recently and kind of just another way to engage the group. If you're ready, you're super active in the group. If you're commenting and liking and asking questions, we so appreciate it. The group is a great place to find everyone from a pet sitter to a tile expert to a handyman to basically anything.
Take in your pants, a seamstress, to a roofer, to someone to repair your TV. I mean, just about anything. What I love about the group is, and I'm sure you use it this way too, it's like a great resource to not only post what you need, but to go in there and use the search function to like find something like appliance repair. Totally. And then you could go through all the posts, see all the comments, kind of like create your own little, okay, I've seen this person recommended 4 or 5 times, I'm going to give them a call. And we've done that many a times. And one of the things we wanted to do in this first episode, and I think every episode moving forward, is really give some shout outs to businesses that have helped us, that we found through the Facebook group, the ones we love. So those are going to be some great opportunities for you guys to get to know some new businesses maybe as well.
For sure. And before we dive in, I just want to give a big shout out to Michael and Work Zones. We're here at the Work Zones, one of their many studios. This is kind of their larger podcast or meeting room studio. They have other podcast rooms. They have individual workspaces. It's a great place if you're looking to start a podcast, if you're looking to record something professionally, if you just want to hold a meeting, or if you're looking to have a more permanent office. Definitely check out Work Zones.
Yeah, right here in Paseo Nuevo. I mean, I've been thinking about podcasting for a long time. I know you have, and I'm sure the audience, there's a lot of people out there that want to break off their idea and start a podcast. I invite you to reach out to Work Zones, talk to Michael. He's got an amazing system, and that first one's going to be the hardest. Once you get that first one done, then it's like, you're probably going to see the momentum build from there. So I definitely recommend you guys reaching out to Work Zones, and really grateful for the opportunity to be here to use this amazing setup and produce this first episode.
Let's go. So we're going to jump in first and talk about a little bit of Santa Barbara news. We do this on Joe's YouTube video a lot as well when we're doing drive-alongs about properties, but we wanted to talk about what's kind of going on in the Santa Barbara area, anything that's notable. We're recording this. It is October 21st, and this will probably come out a little bit later this week or next week. And an interesting article I saw, we were looking at the Independent, we were looking at Newshawk, was that international tourism is significantly down in Santa Barbara, about 25% reduction year over year. And there was about 7.5% decrease just month over month from August. And I'm wondering why international tourism is going down. I know there's a lot of like international news about Los Angeles, about maybe violence, or about the protests that obviously were very speculative. But I was wondering what your thoughts were on maybe why you think that tourism might be down internationally.
I don't know. I mean, it could be economy factors, people tightening their belt. But I think a lot of it is just the climate of the environment around not only California, but America in general. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm walking down State Street, I love hearing all the different languages that are being spoken. So like, we're definitely attracting the world to Santa Barbara. Totally. And that's one of the reasons why Santa Barbara real estate is so amazing, because it's got the eyes of the world on this spot. And so I think that has definitely a big part of this decrease is just the climate of what's going on right now. And so a lot of people maybe have chosen to travel closer to their home country, or just go to other areas. So I know that local businesses must be feeling that. I haven't seen a lot of stories pinpointing like that correlating to lower sales, but I'm sure if you're in a local business that relies on tourist industry, you've got to be feeling it. It's definitely, I think, an impact on a lot of people's pocketbooks. We're at a time where things are getting really expensive, and to have less dollars come in, it's a tough thing to balance.
Totally. I wonder where things compare now to maybe before COVID, because obviously during COVID, I feel like we have a huge chunk of where California is the closest state to Asia,
Hmm.
in the United States. And I know that obviously that had a huge impact when, you know, their travel restrictions were extremely tight. I wonder if that has come back to normal levels since pre-COVID or not. That'd be something interesting to maybe do some diver deep research. Maybe like Google Deep Research could tell us on that. I wonder if we're back to normal levels or not even.
Yeah, my guess would be like we're probably below that.
Hmm.
Would be my guess. But yeah, it's something we could look into for the next episode. One thing that I was wondering your thoughts on. There's a lot of talk about what to do with State Street and driving down State Street or keeping it open as a promenade.
Yep.
And one thing's for certain is that I think since the closing, State Street has struggled. It might have already had some struggles going on before then, but it's also really cool to have something to walk. And
For
so
sure.
I don't know. I mean, I think a big part of it is when you're driving down State Street. Before, when you used to cruise State Street, that would be like kind of, I got some time. I'm going to drive down State Street, do some people watching, check things out. That also gives you an opportunity to eyeball businesses, get a reminder that, oh, I want to go there, maybe pull
Totally.
off and park and go back. So that could be a way to rejuvenate State Street and I
Yep.
think there is some talk, but what do you think? Should we open it up for traffic?
It's such a good question. I go back and forth because personally, I love to walk and I live downtown. I live a walking distance from State Street, so I can walk everywhere. And I walk to the Santa Barbara Athletic Club about a mile from my house, so I live kind of close to the courthouse. And personally, I love it being clear of traffic.
Hmm.
But I know that there's a lot of businesses specifically that sounds like it's hurt their business because they don't have people that can just park nearby, grab their goods, and get back in the car
Hmm.
because obviously it's the business hub. I also definitely know that I feel like something has to be done. Well, I guess they've tightened it up, but the e-bikers have kind of been,
Hmm.
on the loose, and there's been accidents and issues and people just cruising so fast on their e-bikes. And I know that they've been ticketing some or been
Hmm.
more mindful of that. But from what it sounds like, from a handful of the business owners that I've talked to, as well as people that have been in the community a lot, they think their opinion is that it will help the businesses of State Street if there's at least like one lane or like some more
Right.
parking availability. So it's hard to say because personally, I'm like, I would just love to walk all the time and have the whole road for me to just like
Right.
walk and jog and stuff like that. But it sounds like business wise, we obviously need help on State Street. There's a lot of vacancy, and maybe opening up that road is the way to fix it or at least help it.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself typically when I'm walking still staying on the sidewalk, even though you could go on the street.
Totally.
So I'm like, I don't know if I'd miss it that much. And one thing that we can point to is San Luis Obispo, very similar kind of vibe for their main street.
Totally.
They never closed it, and they are, I think, their retail is experiencing much more vibrancy than State Street.
And Ventura reopened their main street to cars,
Mhm.
and now it's apparently helped them rebound as well because they shut it down and they've reopened it to cars. So
So it
that
could
might
be,
be
I
the
don't know,
move.
maybe you guys,
Yeah.
I'm sure you all have an opinion about it, but it could be something to talk about.
Yeah.
And then some other local stuff been going on recently. We heard about this development behind the Mission.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with that, really tall 8-story apartment building scheduled to be built behind the Santa Barbara Mission. Well, a lot of people up in arms because they were using the special, I think it's like SB9 loophole, not a loophole necessarily, but it's a streamlining for developers, the builder's remedy law that allows them to, on certain size properties, avoid environmental review, avoid design review, and get these projects streamlined, permitted, and built to alleviate the housing crisis. I get it. We need to find a balance, though. And I heard that Governor Newsom has put an environmental review mandate on this project, which will slow it down a little bit. So
Yep.
a lot of people that have been watching it were really happy and excited to hear about that. So
For sure.
that, I mean, we got to have this development. It's going to happen. We got to get rid of the not in my backyard mentality, I think,
Yeah.
to some degree. But in the backyard of the Mission, I don't know.
I
It
know.
feels a little obtrusive.
It just feels like it would be much more ideal to get like the Sears project going 1st or
Mhm.
places that are already developed rather than having like some, beautiful, or at least close to an Santa Barbara landmark get turned into, an apartment complex right next door, a big multi-story. Because if you think about how much room is available in Sears or in some of these other empty vacant buildings that are going to be re-permitted for housing, at some point there's so much more opportunity to just kind of revamp those, make them look nice, and you already have the framework and the shell there. There's already parking. It just seems like that would be more, straightforward to do than a massive project from scratch that's right behind the mission as well, where if you take a photo of the mission with the mountains in the background, now you're also going to see a massive, wasn't it going to be like black or like, I don't know, I've seen like
Yeah,
the
I'm sure it'll
renderings.
be like, stucco and stuff, but just so huge for
Yeah,
that setting. And not only, I think, just visually and everything, but the impact on the neighborhood to have that many people living there. If there's some type of emergency and Mission Canyon's trying to evacuate, that's such a bottleneck right there. You're going to
totally.
have such trouble getting people out of there. So, I don't know. So, yeah, I think you're right. Focusing in on these areas where it could accommodate a little bit better. I think that one was just very unique because it was this over 4 acre property, and that's one of the um, factors that give you the streamlined ability if you got 4 acres or more, where you could just like, if I got 4 acres and I'm going to put this amount of affordable units,
Yep.
boom,
Automatic.
slam dunk, automatic, you
Yep.
can put it up. So yeah, but we're definitely going to see some changing. I mean, I just noticed today in the news that there's a new law within 1 mile of mass transit or bus stations,
Hmm.
which could mean our MTD bus station downtown
Yep.
on Chapala. If you think about a 1 mile radius from there, they'll be able to start going up to 9 stories.
Wow.
So we don't have, I mean, I don't know how tall the Granada is, but like,
I think the ground is over 9 stories because it's historic. It's probably
yeah,
10 or 12.
but these could be some of the new tallest buildings in town now with this new.
Wow.
So those downtown infill projects could be in our future. And I think we have to adjust and accept that things are going to change. Density will increase. We're going to have more people. We have a need, and it's
Sure.
going to be filled somehow. So that's kind of an interesting little update.
Yeah. Good
Uh,
stuff to follow. I mean, all Santa Barbara's, it's just the prices here. We're going to get into the real estate later, but the key, or one of the keys to creating affordability, is supply and demand. And right now we have no supply and a lot of demand. So
yeah.
let's transition a little bit. One amazing thing that we love about the Support Santa Barbara Business Podcast is we personally have met some amazing contractors and people that assist us in our day-to-day business. And we wanted to do a shout out for them. And also in future episodes, we might be bringing on guests, or honestly, if you're in the Facebook group and someone's helped you a lot in recent weeks, we would love to feature other people's stories. So we wanted to talk a little about a couple people that have worked a lot with us. We want to talk about Paul Harris at SB Landscape Solutions, Robert Cavada at RC Plumbing, and Deni, the paint. What's Denny's last name?
Godoy
Yeah, I was gonna mess it up, but and he's an awesome painter. So
at Lara B Painting. Him
yeah,
and Ani Lara B Godoy, they're amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
they do a great job.
these are all people that we've met through the group. Paul has done projects for us, everything from climbing big trees and trimming them, or even
Removing them.
removing big
Yeah.
palms. Remember that huge concrete project he did? He took out these clients of ours bought a really cool house, but the backyard was pretty much full concrete. He's helped everything from a property owner that I worked with. Their fence got completely blown over from the wind.
Mhm.
I think Paul and his team, they do a little bit of everything. They're so personable. They show up and they get the job done. I want to give a big shout out to Paul because he's helped us out a lot.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he is, like you said, like obviously landscape is their number one business. That's the brand. Um, so maintenance, all that kind of stuff, regular new landscape. You want to install something new, switch things up. That's great. But what I loved about Paul is that he rolls up his sleeves and he's a solutions kind of guy, right? So you got a problem, you need something done. He's like, I'll take care of it, and he's got a great Rolodex of people, workers that do things beyond just landscape that I like, because sometimes landscape jobs, like you said, bring in like, oh, we also need some fence work and stuff, or concrete remove. So I loved how he was be able to kind of add to the value of just not only landscape solutions.
For sure. Big shout out to you, Paul. Next, Robert. We met Robert actually. We probably should get back to doing these. We've done some in-person meetups for the Support Santa Barbara Biz Facebook group.
Yeah,
At
happy
a
hours.
donut shop, happy hour after work. We've done a couple of those. We met I think we met Robert there at the first one where we had
Yeah,
like
at
happy
Little
hour
Alex's.
drinks. Yeah,
He was the
exactly.
first one to show up.
Yeah,
He was
and
fresh off the job. He had his coveralls on, and he's ready to have a beer. Just got done plumbing all day.
yeah, he works his butt off. He's done everything from major jobs at our projects where he's climbing under the house and getting into the pipes to just checking things out and doing, small water heater jobs. And I feel like for having someone that's so reliable who can do everything from a huge job to a small job, and he always has a smile on his face, always is, super friendly and fun to work with, and always shows up on time and gets the job done. I feel like that's pretty hard to find in the plumbing industry where
Hmm.
there's sometimes like the big dogs that only want to handle the mega work,
Hmm.
and then the people, if it's too small of a job, they're not going to do a good job.
Yeah. So that's Robert Cavada at RC Plumbing. And one thing I love about his work is it's meticulous. I mean, the piping, you know how you look and you could just tell this guy's super organized. It's just really tidy. The joints, everything about it is just really top notch. So I appreciate the work he does.
We appreciate you, Robert. And then tell us how you met Denny, because you met Denny, and I've met him obviously through you, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just through putting out a post, needing some help with painting, reaching out, and then from there, we started talking. Realized we were both from SB, and what I loved about Denny too is just the meticulous detail. You know how some painters whip it out real quick,
yep,
or some just like, how did they get the lines so tight and everything? And then also kind of like Robert, where there's a lot of other things they do beyond painting. I had this one job where there was Venetian plaster everywhere and there was some water damage, which is very tricky whenever you're trying to blend and make Venetian plaster match after you've done some damage repair. It's very tricky, and they did an amazing job. So not only painting but plaster work, and I think they also, like Paul, have a Rolodex of people that could help out if there's another little aspect of the job instead of needing to go source it. They would have a resource to get it done. I
shout
really
out
like
to
that.
you as well, then, Denny. And what
Yeah,
we're gonna do
and
is,
Ani.
yeah,
Yeah.
both of you guys. And then in this episode, what we're gonna do, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this in the Facebook group, we're gonna have their information down in the description. They have websites or just their direct contact. So if you need someone in that space, feel free to reach out. And like we said in the Facebook group, if you need, I've seen some very funny random requests. Like the Facebook group has it.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, I'm trying to think of some of the really weird ones that I've seen. I just saw someone saying, "Where's the best cheesecake in Santa Barbara?" And it was
Hmm.
like 30 comments.
Yeah.
So whatever you need, try out the Facebook group, and you'll be surprised how active it is and how you're gonna have a lot of response.
Or someone just posted like, "Where are you watching the game this weekend?" or something, and so then people are shouting out different places around town to watch the game, and so it's not even good for those businesses, but also the community to maybe
Totally.
meet up and see your friends going to watch a game, or maybe just show up and say, "Hey, I saw you on the Support Biz group, and I'm here to support the business you shouted out." So
Yeah, it's awesome. And speaking of where to watch the game or get food, we were going to talk about every episode. We're going to talk about some of the food spots that we've tried, and we love trying all the food spots here because we have clients that come in from out of town, and it's part of the fun part of our job is that we get to show them all the best things to do in Santa Barbara.
mhm.
On my YouTube channel, I have everything from the best burgers. Back in the day, we filmed best tacos, best coffee shop, best ice cream. That's all on my
Remember
channel.
cocktails, best cocktails?
Oh yeah, that was epic when we still had to wear our masks in
Yeah.
between the shoots. Man, that was crazy back in the day. So we want to talk about some of the restaurants that we've hit recently. One of the newer ones, I don't know how exactly old it is, but it's Ospey in the where the old the bird refuge, or is that what they call that area?
Oh
On the
yeah,
end of
yeah,
Cabrillo.
yeah.
It's the Post now. Beautiful, really well done, new shopping center. A lot of high end clothing shops, coffee shops. Some offices as well, but yeah, definitely check out the Post if you haven't been down there. I remember it was basically like a year and a half ago we checked out the Post when it was still totally under construction, and
Mhm.
now it's finished. And Ospey is really awesome, high-end Italian. I had the chicken. Which pasta did I have? I had the spicy rigatoni, and then also the chicken parmesan. So good. And I mean, I had been to a bunch of the classic Italian spots in Santa Barbara and Montecito, but I thought this one was really new, fresh, kind of a different take. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Ospey. I think they have a couple other locations in California,
Mhm.
so they're maybe a small, it's not their only restaurant, but you could tell they're really dialed in. Beautiful bar and beautiful build out. You could walk, down Cabrillo after you're done with dinner. So I definitely should give them a shout out if you want a really nice date night. And there's a good spot that you hit that you said you were found the first, or your gluten-free burrito.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Alubia's Kitchen. They've got a food truck spot out in Old Town Goleta, over by Santa Barbara Ale Works, I think is what it is. And then they also have a spot now in Isla Vista, and
Ooh.
so it's gluten free. Um, it's not Mexican food. It might be Argentinian food, and they have like pupusas, burritos, tacos, and a few other things I can't remember right now. But my youngest daughter has celiac, and we learned later, like I think when she was 14. So she started her life enjoying gluten and all the stuff that she loved, and burritos and stuff like that. And so when that happened, to know that there's a place where we could get a burrito, so it's become one of our go-to spots. We probably go like once a week or something. It feels like now.
Do you go to the food truck or to their location?
It depends. If the food truck's open, that's where we go. But sometimes it's closed, or they've moved it to a special event. So then it's nice that they opened up the Isla Vista, because that's always open. It's just a little further for us to get to.
Nice.
Yeah, it's super nice. And on the Italian front, we also like to go to Cadario for Italian, because
Totally.
they have a gluten-free pizza.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's really good.
Yep.
Caitlin loves that.
Nice. Mesa Pizza as well, my friend Veer who runs that. They have gluten-free pizza, and they just opened a spot in Isla Vista as well. A
Oh,
really
nice.
big spot that has like a beer garden and a bunch of TVs. So shout out to all those businesses with great food. And let's switch gears. Let's talk about our specialty right now, or our area of expertise. Every week we drive around on Joe's YouTube channel. We're looking at all the new properties. We're talking about the real estate market, but we wanted to bring a little real estate market segment here as well if you're not familiar with us on YouTube. And if you haven't ever checked out Joe's channel, he's pretty close to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm a little bit behind. I'm trying to grow up to almost like 3,000, but really great real estate content if you love to preview the beautiful homes that we have. But let's talk about a little bit what's going on in the market right now, what you're seeing. Maybe we'll talk about a couple of the properties that we've seen, both ours and others, and kind of just give people the pulse of the Santa Barbara real estate market.
Yeah, so we have a sales meeting every Tuesday at Berkshire Hathaway. Avi and Becker and I are on a team called the Santa Barbara Group. Berkshire Hathaway meets every Tuesday, and there's about 120 of the top producing agents on that meeting. And we talk about what's going on in the market. We talk about off-market opportunities. The brokerage does have a database of properties that are not in the computer. So there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of deals happening that no one's seen online. That when you're working with a real estate professional, you can get plugged into that information. But one of the takeaways I heard from our meeting this morning is that the hot segment of the market is 3 million and below. That's where 53% of all the transactions that are happening are taking place in that segment right there. There's still activity beyond that, but that's definitely the bulk of the activity is kind of slid into that area. We're seeing that days on the market is starting to increase. So as a seller, you got to be sharper with your price or be more patient, because it is taking a little bit longer. And that's a result of buyers just, I think, themselves being patient about their search, feeling like time may be on their side if they don't have to buy something right away and they don't see something that they absolutely love. They'll probably hold off because it's such a big purchase with the way that prices have gone that they don't want to blow it. They feel kind of almost locked in once they do. And so, they're just kind of a lot of wait and see going on. The ones that do have to buy are really being aggressive sometimes with their pricing if it's been on the market for a while. And so you are seeing people trying to negotiate the price down, or after it's gone into escrow, that buyer's remorse kicking in, and so we're seeing like 25% fallout. Do you notice that?
Yep.
So those are some of the things going on in the market right now. And as far as pricings, it seems like when you include Hope Ranch and Montecito, which has some really amazing sales, like most recently, the sale in Montecito for 55 million. I mean, that was a huge sale. These are skewing the data a little bit. So with that, we're up 4%. But when you take Hope Ranch and Montecito out, the values are down 3%.
Yep.
So we're kind of in this flux where it doesn't seem like we're still seeing a ton of appreciation. Maybe that's flattening out. But the market's definitely not declining drastically, but there are some segments of the market that are starting to show some decline.
Totally. This is just per Zillow, and this is in 93108, which it is Montecito, but there are 93108s that are technically not Montecito, or basically like, the hills that are right adjacent. It says it's up a little bit over 0.5%. And just looking at the 5-year trajectory, right now the average sale price in 93108, this is all just per Zillow. So it's not, the data is different website to website, but Zillow obviously is a name brand, so I use it. It's 4.871 is the average sale price in 93108, and in 2020 the average sale price was 2.7 and change.
Wow.
So it's almost doubled in a 5-year trajectory, and it just shows that I think Montecito and the surrounding neighborhoods have been so explosive that it's even carried our market even when things start to sag off, even when other markets are, I've heard markets in Austin, Texas, places that are overbuilt having major decrease in pricing. 93108 is kind of just like the untouchable bubble where it's just not gonna, move. I guess I shouldn't say bubble because bubbles pop, but it just seems like it's the marketplace that has incredible resilience because if people, high net worth individuals, they're gonna pay the prices to live there regardless of what's going on in the marketplace.
Yeah, yeah. The consolidation of wealth has definitely. Um, I think they focus on a lot of the same areas. These people that have the means to come and pay cash for a 15, 20, 30, 40 million dollar property, like, and don't really notice it in their bank account at all. They're operating on that level. There's certain areas around the world, and Santa Barbara is definitely on that radar. And within Santa Barbara, you're looking at Montecito is kind of the celebrity spot for that type of attraction. And there's a lot of people out there that just need to, maybe they've come into some money through a relative dying or something, and they just want to, they're being advised to get this into real estate. And so, what a better place, what's more protected than something like Montecito real estate, where, you got very limited opportunity for more supply to be created. You got no room geographically to sprawl. You've got ocean, you got National Forest, and Santa Barbara and Summerlin Carpinteria on the other side. So, you just got this finite little area that as time goes on and more people know about it and want it, and people's wealth continues to grow, or people continue to come into more money as family members pass away, that money needs to go into real estate. They get to use it, they get to enjoy it, and it's a sound investment. I mean, that's a win-win, right?
Slam
So,
dunk.
yeah, that's why we see a lot of this happening, which on the flip side is also adding to the unaffordability of Santa Barbara and Montecito. But that's not a new story. That's always been the case, it seems like, or at least since maybe the 90s.
Yep. And speaking of, you touched on Carpinteria. I wanted to feature one listing, and I'm gonna have Michael pull it up in the back. This new listing that just hit the market right on the beach fronts of Carp, 571 Sandpoint Road for right under 40 million, 4 bed, 4.5 bath. I was scrolling through the photos of this and be like, man, it'd be so cool to just wake up every day, go for a morning dip, jog the beach. These type of properties rarely come on the market when they're, in this good of condition. We've seen some others that have been kind of dated, but it'll be interesting to see what this one ends up selling for. It's listed for by the Crystal Clark, who's out of our office in Berkshire Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
I was just scrolling through the photos. It's dreamy. It's got a pool. It has the sunset view. It seems like it's super protected, close to, I think, like maybe views of the marshlands and the backside of the mountains, and just really nice turnkey condition. And I think it's just fun sometimes to drive through these properties. We tour them every week, and I think some of the people that watch our channel, even if that might not be the house that you're going to purchase someday, it's fun to just always check it out and see what's out there, because we have everything. Just in the last month of September, we sold everything from in stunning Montecito estate to a mobile home in Carpinteria, and we see a little bit of everything. We have a cool listing for right over $1 million in the Winslow complex right by the Santa Barbara airport. I'm going to be doing open houses there Friday or Saturday, Sunday. Joe will be there Friday. So a lot of times people, they see these videos where we're looking at these $40 million mansions, but it's just a reminder that we're helping people at all sorts of price points, not just the ultra high end. We like to remind people, especially on our YouTube channel, but thought I'd do that here as well.
Yeah, for sure. And like you brought up Bolinas, where you're going to be this weekend on Saturday and Sunday between 1 and 3. If you guys want to see Avi and check out this townhouse, this is a great, modern, spacious townhouse. It's a 2-bedroom, but it has an extra bonus room that could be a 3rd bedroom. And it's for those people that want that more newer, higher ceiling, luxurious feel. For under $1.1 million, you could get into this property and be in a really nice, clean, newer place with solar, 2-car garage, air conditioning, all the comforts you would want in a home, and it's close to UCSB. So if you got a kid going to UCSB, this could be perfect, or your professor out there, or it's also really close to Goleta Beach, which I don't know if you've been out there lately, but they've reopened up the parking lot when you go to the left. So
Nice.
you go past the Elwood, which is a new restaurant I haven't been to yet. And then there's that great parking lot down there at the beach. I love going down there. It's really nice.
I've heard great things about the Elwood. We should feature that on the next episode. Let's go hit that in between now and our next recording. I've
Yeah,
heard
we
good
could do
things.
a little jump down the coast. You got the Elwood, and then if you go down, you got Boathouse, and then you got Shoreline Cafe, and then Reunion Kitchen.
The beach
all the
house,
beach.
kitchens, and
Yeah, all the
dining
beach spots.
I love that idea. But yeah, we're going to include those links as well to our listings in the description. And also, twice a month, we send out a email newsletter. Once a month is the newsletter, and then once a month is the real estate market update. But on that, we include all the listings that we have coming up that are currently active, the ones that we are pending and sold. So a lot of people enjoy our email newsletter. If you're interested in that, we're going to have the link to sign up there as well. I think we have like 12,000 people that are on that newsletter, and it's fun to help it grow because people are just curious about where the market's going, if they bought years ago, or if they're looking to get into the market. It's a really good resource for them.
Yeah, I like how we give you one email is pretty much real estate focused, talking about what's going on in the market, giving you guys a little snapshot, a little opinion of what's been happening, and then some stats. And then the next one is more community based. And the one that we have coming out, it might be going out today to our subscribers, talks about the history of this 101 expansion project and the Blue Ribbon Highway and what that is all about. I don't know if you've seen in Carpinteria, but that highway that has that really cool kind of blue ribbon going down for about a mile over by Padara Lane. So the newsletter goes all into that and tells everybody what that's all about, which is really cool because it's like resurrecting a memorial that they did for vets from World War I back in the day, where some Boy Scouts planted oak trees and plaques to honor these soldiers from that died in World War I. And those trees have kind of lived their life, and the plaques can't be found anymore. So they were able to plant another 100 oak trees and then add this ribbon so that it's always there to remind people of that memorial. So that's pretty cool. So those are the little tidbits you're going to get in the newsletter. If you want to subscribe to that, stay in touch with the market, stay in touch with us and the community of Santa Barbara.
For sure. And let's finish out wrapping up. We're going to talk about community shout outs. And we thought this would be a segment where every time we do a podcast, we can shout out nonprofits or people in the Facebook group or even beyond that have, Santa Barbara is just such a special community because I feel like everyone has each other's backs. And then there's just amazing nonprofits that are focused right here that do work worldwide. And there was a group, a nonprofit that you were assisting and you were wanting to touch base on. So tell us a little bit about.
I'm on the board at the Sanctuary Centers, which is in downtown Santa Barbara, and they are actually building a new facility. If you've been downtown near Anapamu and De La Vina, you'll see a crane up erecting a big building for Santa Barbara standards. What this is going to be is Sanctuary Centers is a mental health treatment facility that has live-in residents scattered around the community in various apartments they have. A lot of them are right there by this building, but this new state-of-the-art building is going to have a clinic in it and also treatment rooms for meetings with your counselor, group sessions, and then housing. So there'll be 6 stories, I think it's going to be, of housing for people to live in who are impacted by mental health problems. So this is really great because it's a tough solution to try to figure out what the answer is. It's a tough problem to find a solution for, is what I'm trying to say. And so what they've done here is create a continuum of care that will give people who are suffering with these conditions a place to live, the support, the medical treatment to keep them contained so they don't get lost, spun out, have an episode that crashes them out, and then all of a sudden now they're living on the streets, they're unmedicated, they're having big problems. So this is a great opportunity for us to be an example of not only how to treat these people and give them, but and how to maybe duplicate that around the country, around the state, and around the country. So yeah, really excited to be on that board. And if anyone's ever interested in touring that, I could set up a tour where we could put on a hard hat and go walk around and see what the building's going to look like, what kind of programs they're going to be offering. Really great way to get engaged in the solution for mental health treatment and for people that are struggling, to find them support.
Yep, let's include that for sure in the description as well. And one thing that we love, especially on our YouTube channel, is sometimes people reach out to us specifically about either a house or about like something like, something that's not real estate related. So if you have questions about that, Joe's the man to talk to. I think everyone, will be really stoked to see how that project comes along, as mental health is obviously one of the main challenges that the whole world is facing right now, because it's, for so many years doctors focused on how to fix a broken bone, but mental health is definitely the next wave of care, and it's so awesome to see that a project like that is headquartered right here in SB.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Was there another group you were thinking about shouting out?
I was going to give a quick shout out. I posted in the Facebook group yesterday, kind of teasing about this episode and saying, hey, if there's groups or organizations or places to give a shout out to, and had a couple people shout out the Organic Soup Kitchen,
Yeah.
which is so awesome.
Yeah.
I've donated to them before, and basically what they do is they create great organic, very healthy soups and foods for people that are battling tough diseases, battling cancer, who just need the nourishment. And I just want to give a huge shout out to that organization. I'm going to include the link below, whether you want to donate, whether you have someone that maybe could use that resource.
Or volunteer. They need volunteers too.
Totally. There's just so many, amazing charities that are centered right here in Santa Barbara, and we're going to continue to include them in our episode at the of every podcast, because this community is so special and so many people work so hard to help not just themselves or their families, but the whole community as large. So big shout outs.
They're not only delivering nutrition, but they're delivering love, because, they're personally delivering this food to people that are sick, and they're making it. And you could just tell that that soup is not only nutritious, but it's infused with all the goodwill of the people that are making it and the cooks and everything. So that is really healing for people that are struggling with cancer, like you said, or some other maybe disease or something.
Yeah. And that's about it. We just are super stoked to launch this podcast. It's awesome to continue to grow the community, whether you found us from YouTube, whether you found us from the newsletter, whether you found us from the Facebook group. We're going to be posting this directly into the Facebook group, as well as clips on our Santa Barbara group Instagram and our personal Instagrams. I'm going to be posting this on my YouTube channel, Becker on YouTube, and you can find Joe Parker on YouTube as well. We just love helping out people in this community. We've grown a large audience online, and we just think that there's more fun ways to tap into it. So we appreciate you guys listening wherever you found this podcast.
Yeah, and if you hear of something that we should talk about on a future episode, I invite you to reach out to us and let us know. And if you want us to talk about what you're doing in the community, again, definitely reach out to us. We're here to elevate all the good things people are doing here, and kind of keep it local and really give our community a way to connect.
For sure. We love reading the comments. We try to respond to all of them, whether you have an idea for what we should do next or you just like a segment. We really appreciate hearing from you guys. One more big shout out to Michael and Work Zones. This podcast space is amazing. We have like 3 professional cameras, 4K going in all directions, multiple types of audio, and Michael set this all up for us. So if you want to do a podcast, highly recommend checking out Work Zones, or if you just need a place to work. It's a really beautiful, big space. I didn't realize how big it was. The offices go way back.
Tons of offices, tons of options, from a personal office or just a workspace. So definitely check it out. And, hopefully this inspires you to do that podcast if you've been thinking about doing it.
I'm Avi with the Santa Barbara Group, and this is Joe.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
See you on the next one. Make it a great day. Peace.